Jefferson Forest getting ready to start the season. Talking to head coach J.T Crews. How's the week of practice been?
It's been a good week. We had a short week last week. We scrimmaged on Thursday, so had the full week this week after giving them that long 3-day weekend last week, giving them Friday off. And we've had a really, really good week of practice. I think we're ready for this one.
Are people energized because it does count? It is game one.
Yeah. It's been a long time coming, right? So like we talked about with the team, honestly, like an hour ago, we finished up Thursday practice. Like we have been prepping for this since January, right? Like guys started lifting January when we came back from Christmas break, and all the way through the winter, through the spring, into the summer, into the fall, preseason camp, scrimmages, all that, all leading up to this one right here, man. And so, yeah, absolutely, guys are excited for this one.
How good's Gretna?
They're good, man. They're good. Honestly, it was a tough game last year. You know, you look at the final score last year, and things got a little lopsided in the fourth quarter, but late in the third quarter and on into the fourth, it was back and forth the whole way. There was a point in that game where we converted a fourth down in their territory to keep the drive alive and score. And had we not gotten that fourth down, like that game might have flipped and gone the other direction just because it was back and forth. Like I said, got away from them a little bit towards the end, but it was back and forth. And honestly, I think they are a better football team this year than they were last year. They're really, really good. They're a dangerous football team.
If you had to put your finger on one thing that gets your attention, I don't want to say worries, but gets your attention most about the Hawks, what is it?
It's their quarterback, man. I mean, honestly, that guy he's a player. He's one of the better ones, if not the best one we're going to see all year. He was like that last year, and he's an even better player this year. He can create within the pocket, move, and kind of find that space. He's always got his eyes downfield. He is really, really good in the pocket. And then when he escapes, man, he is great at creating things outside of the pocket. So honestly, that's been one of the things that we've had to preach with our guys all week is like, you got to keep your rush integrity. You got to keep your lane integrity. You can't let him get outside because as good as he is in the pocket, he's also dangerous outside the pocket. So honestly, it is that guy. I mean, he's the trigger man in their offense, and it all starts with him. So yeah, he's dangerous, man. He's certainly dangerous.
We saw you at Media Day, but we haven't seen you since. What's changed for the Cavaliers since that time?
I think we're continuing to grow up front. Honestly, that was one of the bigger question marks coming into this season was who's going to step up into those 5 open offensive line positions that we have. Slade Garcia has done a phenomenal job. And we all know how good of a defensive player Slade is. He was defensive player of the year last year, and as good as you're going to find on the defensive line, but him transitioning to offensive line, I think he's going to have as big of an impact there as he did on the defensive side of the ball last year and will have this year. And so being a leader there and kind of bringing those younger guys along, Seth Bell has really stepped up in a big way. Very, very excited about seeing him. Chase Spraker is doing some really, really good things for us. Logan Hamilton is kind of an athletic guy at that tackle position that can get out in space and block folks. And then Ethan Mandel has stepped into our center position and done a really good job there. So we've kind of grown and solidified and figure out who those first 5 guys on the offensive line are going to be. Practice
and scrimmages are different than the real game. Are you worried? I don't want to say worried, but when the lights come on, it's game one. The offensive line, question mark.
Yeah,
could you lose 5?
Yeah, absolutely. It was kind of that situation with us last year on the other end of things with some of our skill positions where you think you have a pretty good idea going into game one and you think you know what you got, but you never really know. You never really know until game one when the lights come on and the pressure's there and things are moving 1,000,000 miles an hour. So we'll know more after Friday than we did going into it for sure.
Knowing you, I feel like you would be more comfortable with questions at skill than questions at the O-line.
Yeah, no question. I don't think that's just me. Honestly, I think that's every football coach out there.
Who has been most receptive to the chalk talk this year that maybe wasn't there last year?
Well, honestly, I think the guy who's grown the most in that regard has been our quarterback, Peyton Jackson. Him and Dylan Marks battled it out last year. Dylan ended up edging him out just a little bit because he had kind of that steady hand as a senior. But Peyton has really this offseason, like he is taken charge and really dove into the X's and O's side of things of understanding, not just how things work in the passing game, but then also how things work protection-wise. That's kind of a thing that quarterbacks, especially young quarterbacks, maybe don't really fully understand. And so he is taking full ownership of understanding, like, not just where all my routes are, but how my protection works. If I'm getting blitzed, where is the free rusher going to come from? Things like that, subtle things that go into being a really, really good quarterback, and he's kind of taken that and ran with it.
Obviously, a good night for J.T. Crews is going to be at the Cavaliers win, but what has to happen in order for J.T. Crews to have a good night?
We got to score more points than that. How's that?
Besides that one.
No, I think truthfully, it's we got to be able to contain a very, very explosive Gretna Hawks offense. We got to find a way to make them snap it again. Because if you let them get loose, man, they will make you pay for it. If you blow coverage in the back end, they will make you pay for it. So we got to contain them defensively, and then offensively we have to play our style of football, which is execution based, grinding things out, running the football, being physical from that side of things. And then on special teams, no catastrophic mistakes, right? We can't afford to give up a big return. We can't afford to give up a block. We can't afford to have those sorts of mistakes and let a team like Gretna, who is already really, really explosive, have more opportunities to score against us.
You brought it up. Are you worried about more mistakes on the special teams early in the season than you would be in week 6 or 7?
Yeah, and I honestly think that's kind of how it always works, right? Just because the nature of scrimmages, you don't really get as many live reps of special teams as maybe you do with the offense and the defense. So there's going to be a few more question marks there that don't really get answered until you go out there and actually do it on a Friday night.
But you don't want it to lead into 6 because, I mean, even the simple thing of tackling them to where they don't cross the 50 or, you got to cross the 50. So how important is it that we don't need to be perfect on special teams, but we got to be pretty darn close?
Well, and that's why I said no catastrophic mistakes, right? No snaps over our punter's head, no drop snaps, no blocked punts because we blew an assignment protection, that sort of thing. If we can be operationally sound, we still got to go down there and we got to make the play, but at least at that point, we're not giving them anything. They got to earn the return at that point. But on the same hand, we got to be smart about where we're kicking this football too, because Gretna has some really, really dangerous guys back there deep.
Is it ever good to kick out of bounds for a coach or for a team?
If they got a really dangerous player back there, yeah, it's absolutely good to kick out of bounds. I mean, you talk about the ultimate spread offense play, right? That's kind of one of those buzz terms now with the world of spread that we all live in offensively. Is you want to get your athletes in space, right? We got to get our athletes in space. Well, there is no better way to get your athlete in space than to put him back there on kickoff return where he's got all that space in front of him, or punt return where he's got all that space in front of him, where it's him and nothing but green grass in front of him, right? So as much as we can avoid those situations, again, with some really, really dangerous, explosive Gretna football players, the better off we're going to be.